Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to the Dungeon Realms content patch for patch 1.6.1c. This is a series of videos I'm going to be producing for the MMORPG Minecraft server Dungeon Realms, which I've been playing to hell over the past few weeks. I will be taking the most recent content patch of Dungeon Realms and going over the new features. Most of the content in these new content patches will be based entirely on fact. However, I will have a portion at the end of each new feature where I give my opinion on it. Let's jump right into patch 1.6.1, shall we? First, and perhaps the most prominent feature of the 1.6.1c patch was the addition of tiered arrows. The direct quote from the patch notes was, "To add value to arrows and create an economy surrounding arrow purchase and trade, we have decided to create different tiers of arrows. There will be a tier for each tier of bow. You can only use the tier of the bow you are wielding, so if you have a tier 1 bow, you can only use the tier 1 arrows, and if you have a tier 5 bow, you can only use tier 5 arrows. So, like the notes say, you can only use your bow if you have the respective tier of arrows. The reason they're implementing this feature is by no means to add difficulty to the game. In fact, it's just the opposite. The developers wanted to give an economy to arrows because, as you may know, if you play on Dungeon Realms, previously you could buy a stack of arrows for about 20 gems, maybe less. Now there'll be a reason to collect arrows, and some money can be made off of them. As for my opinion on this feature, I think that the intentions of the update are fantastic. I agree that arrows need an economy, considering they were previously so ludicrously easy to obtain. However, I think they're going about it the wrong way. My suggestion to the team would be, instead of restricting tiered arrows to their respective bows, they should make the arrows give some sort of extra attribute and allow them to be used on all bows. For example, a tier 4 arrow could deal an extra 22 fire damage or something and could be called an ancient flaming arrow. It's a win-win, there will be an economy for arrows, and there will be no restriction on the players. Bish bosh, moving on. The second feature in patch 1.6.1c is what they're calling a balance of tiers 2 and 3. The direct quote from the patch notes is, "We've also created a huge balance change with tier 3 and tier 2. We felt that tier 3 was more about killing and farming elites and exploring, killing mobs, and finding chests. For that reason, we have made tier 3 elites more powerful and reduced the drop rates on the elites. We have, however, increased the rates for normal tier 3 mobs." So in order to combat the fact that when players reach tier 3, they would just farm tier 3 elites to get tier 4 instead of exploring as a tier 3 player, they increased the tier 3 elite's power, and they also decreased their drop rates, forcing the player to explore and find tier 3 in chests rather than sit in one place and farm the same tier 3 mobs for hours on end. In my opinion, this was a much needed fix. I know that from experience there were a lot of places where you could just sit for about an hour and gather up a ton of tier 3 by farming a single tier 3 elite, including the corner of the valley in Dead Peaks over there, which you see right now in the footage. Lastly, a new teleport was added that will send you all the way to Trollbane's Tavern in Jagged Rocks. Not really much to say about this one other than it was a smart move. They added a new area, and now there's a way to get stuck into the area without having to go over that god-awful bridge out of Dark Oak Tavern. Hats off to you devs. And that's it for updates, my friends. I've been Porpoise. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you don't know what Dungeon Realms is, you can click the link in the description or just go to dungeonrealms.net to check it out for yourself. If you aren't already a member in the closed beta, I would definitely recommend getting in here. I'm having a blast on the servers, and I'm sure you will too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.